So I had a need to clean some dirty electronics. I figured, hey, why not make a video about it? Had to buy something to help me out, and I figured maybe this would help some other folks as well. So if you've been following the channel, you know I've got my gaming PC up in the living room. It's kind of been sitting out next to my television, like underneath a window. And what I noticed just recently while I was trying to re-strategize my next steps for the room and the electronics is we have 3 cats, and they like to hop up on top of the PC and look out the window. I put it in a really, really bad spot. And I was looking inside the case the other day, measuring some things, and there's actually like a lot of dust, litter dust essentially. The cats jump up there, the bottom of their feet, super gross, and I'm like, oh, I really need to clean that. In addition to probably the keyboard on my wife's computer, probably hasn't been cleaned in a long time. My own MacBook keyboard. I did a search for compressed air can because going back in time, I know it's probably not good for the environment, not an ideal solution anymore, but the last time I bought something to blow out electronics, it would have been a compressed air can. Well, wouldn't you know it, we have better solutions nowadays. So I found this, just ordered it. It was $50 with a $12 coupon, and that was after being marked down half off. There's a bunch of these things on Amazon, kind of nondescript, no-name brands, but I have here a compressed air duster, 100,000 RPM, rechargeable blower. It's pretty loud there. This thing is like perfect, right? No environmental waste, no environmental contamination. So for about, again, $40, you get a nice little kit, you get a bag, you get the blower itself. It's got a charging cable. The thing is USB-C, wouldn't you know it? Can't even get an iPhone with USB-C. This thing is USB-C rechargeable. It's got a whole bunch of different adapters that just push into the front there. There's a little tight nozzle. There's more of like of a directed angular one. There's a bigger round circular one. We got one with a brush. And then this is a really weird one. It's kind of got this little divider, so the air hits it and it like kind of splits out to the side, in addition to coming with a couple of specific brushes. These aren't blower brushes, but they just come essentially in the kit. So let's put this thing through its paces. I'm going to blow out that computer. I'm going to blow out some keyboards, standalone keyboards and laptop keyboards. In addition, I would be able to use this thing to clean out some of the harder to reach places of the rack as well. And if I were to do that down here, I probably would do it as a little bit of a combo, meaning stand in there, blow stuff around, and have one of my kids or my wife on this side with the vacuum cleaner. So it's one thing to just blow dust everywhere and have it resettle. If you're going to do that in a space or around your rack, I would do, and I would highly recommend, have somebody else, holding the vacuum cleaner, try to suck that dust in and contain it as it's getting displaced. So I'll run a little B-roll here as I'm cleaning out a couple of the specific devices that I bought this to clean. We'll see what kind of dust clouds and things form as a result of using it. But this feels like a pretty nice little piece of kit. And I'll come back at the end and kind of give my final thoughts on whether it was a waste of money or maybe something you might want to pick up for your setup, your computers, your AV gear, your home theater gear, cleaning your racks, and all of that. What I can say though is I did charge it right out of the box. It does recommend that basically. It might arrive with a lower battery, so go ahead and charge it. I did that. Again, USB-C, awesome. Just took the same old charging cable at my desk that I have ready, standing ready for my iPad, plugged it in right in the back there. There's a little light right on the side. Blinks red when it's charging, blinks green when it's full. That's really about it. There's no kind of opening up the thing. There's not even an on-off switch. So you hold the front button for 3 seconds, it revs up, and then there's 3 speeds. So that gives you the default speed. You hit it again, it blows a little harder. Hit it a third time, it blows as hard as it's capable of blowing. And then you hit it again, and it shuts off. And we got that nice little light there on the front, which is pretty cool as you're blowing into crevices and trying to get all the dust and grime and everything out. You got a little bit of a guide to see what you're doing. Pretty cool. Let's see how it works. So I muted the sound of the blower because it's pretty loud and figured I'd kind of just describe the experience of using it. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of cat hair and dust and grime and other things kind of flowing out of this keyboard. I was pretty happy with this device overall. I probably ran it for maybe close to a half an hour for all of the stuff that I cleaned in this one session, and the battery held up. It didn't seem to get any weaker. That was awesome. I might have had a good experience here as well using some of the brush tipped nozzles and kind of digging in under the keyboard keys, but I think this nozzle that I used worked really great for the keyboard overall. I think the best way to go about it was basically hitting everything from multiple angles. And as you can see, I'm kind of reaching in and helping to pull out some of the bigger tufts of cat hair and fur and all that was being dislodged underneath the keyboard. And I am outside here on my porch, just letting the particles and the fur and everything just flow off into the wind. Holy cow, that was disgusting. Now, I actually did use this both on my MacBook Pro laptop and the family's MacBook Air. Of course, the Mac keys are a lot more slimmer, recessed and all that. There's not as much gunk kind of coming out from this as there was from the mechanical keyboard on my wife's PC. But overall, this was still very, very much worth doing. I got some little bits out of my keyboard for sure, and particularly on the Family's, the one that my kids uses, there were more particles that I was able to get out in hitting the keys, tapping the keys really hard while blowing into the keys from the different directions. I think really worked to make the keyboard much cleaner. All right, so the gaming computer is where I definitely spent the most time. I did still just stick to the one single nozzle, and I hit this thing from all sides, top, bottom, left, right, front, back, vertical, horizontal, moved it all over. It was amazing the amount of dust, like the puff of dust that came from basically shooting out from inside the PC, particularly on the top fans with the radiator on the top. And that's, again, where the cats were kind of jumping up and sitting on top of the computer. So there was a lot of dust and debris and such being trapped in that top dust filter. Now, the one thing that I would say could be an improvement for this device overall is the fact that the way the button works, right? You hold the button, it starts up, hit it once, hit it again, and then you're blowing air as hard as it's able to blow. You hit it a fourth time though, and it turns it off. And so why they put that button right under where your finger goes when you're trying to hold this thing and maneuver it around, I don't know. I did inadvertently shut it off more times than I would have cared for. So I think this would have been better actually if they had moved that button up onto the top or on, maybe even on the bottom, somewhere out of the way so you don't hit it on accident. So I am super happy with this. And just to say, there's no sponsorship here, no discount, no accommodation, nothing. I bought this with my own money, available on Amazon. I will put my affiliate links for this blower down in the description below. Let me help you out by giving you a blow. So what are the other takeaways here? Well, that computer was pretty dirty. I was pretty stupid actually for putting the computer up there, knowing the cats and stuff would jump on it. This room here is basically a clean room. I've had PCs down here for a year or two that accumulated less dirt and gunk in them than literally just a couple of weeks of having the computer in the living room with the cat dust and just the other dust. So I am seriously reconsidering the whole idea of moving my gear upstairs. I think as much as possible, I am way better off actually keeping every piece of equipment down here in the rack, clean and away. So this beauty is going back up on top of the rack. It is not going back upstairs. And look for some other content on that. I've got a couple other things on order to try to solve the controller problems and make the computer playable in the living room from further away, through the walls, through the floor, and all of that. More to come. But again, I can't recommend it enough. Compressed air duster, rechargeable, and this thing is magic. I'm going to be walking around the house looking for anything that I can blow and try to clean it and keep it all dust free. And definitely stage 2 will be to take this to the rack, get the vacuum cleaner, blow all the dust out, try to suck it all up in the room here, and keep everything nice and tidy. So sound off in the comments. Let me know, how do you keep your electronics clean, dust and grime free? Where do you keep them? Keep them out of living rooms, keep them away from your pets. Let me know your experience, share all of that. If you are going to buy a compressed air duster, please use the Amazon affiliate links below. Otherwise, do all the regular YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, share the video, all of that. And of course, there are other ways too to support the channel down in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Coming back for more home theater discussion and fun.